was nothing like we've seen before. It took entire view of the CTX image. It's a 30 kilometers width, and even we needed to take 2 more images on the sides to capture the entire perturbance area. We do see regularly small craters with in our CTX field of view. And how do we do it? We acquire CTX images based on our various scientific objectives, and we inspect them for any changes. And typically what we see, it will be like a little smudge. And then we compare to all the available previously data sets to confirm that it is fresh or not fresh crater. And typically they are on the size of up to 20 feet, small craters. And time constraint, we can do
literally
a few years, maybe occasionally down to 1 year.
Literally anything. You just keep
The
trying and see what the audience
that
likes.
This impactor created
Non-stop.
was so large, then we thought maybe we could see it in our other camera view. It's our, may I have my next image, please? It's our low resolution weather camera, but it takes daily global images of Mars. On the right, you see a feature that created by this impactor. And to see that strong of a signal in that camera view, it's huge, very rare. We were able to time constrain this impact down to about a day, slightly over 24 hours. And then I recall that InSight reported back in December that they recorded this large seismic event on Christmas Eve. When we compare seismic epicenter with location that we pinpointed from the orbit and the time, we were able to match this large seismic event to our large impact crater. This is by far the largest jointly observed crater recorded seismically and observed from the image, from the orbit. May I have my next slide, please? As ball light travels through the Mars atmosphere, it creates a muck cone. And as a result of it, you see dust perturb on the left of the crater. A lot happens as the meteoroid strikes Mars. Rock gets fractured. There is atmospheric blast. Ejecta gets thrown out. Crater gets excavated. And effect of that dynamic all got preserved in the Martian surface, and we captured it in our CTX image. We see the crater itself at about 150 meters in diameter. We see bright patches of ice. This is most equatorward ice we've seen on Mars. The ability to tell what happened when and what activity occurred, along with the largest impact crater, and demonstrates the value, increased value that joint work of 2 missions brings. And I will turn to Ingrid to look at more details of the impact itself.
Thanks, Liliya. My name is Ingrid Daubar. I'm on the team for the HiRISE camera, which is another camera orbiting Mars on MRO. If I can have the first visual, please. HiRISE is a high-resolution color stereo camera that lets us see things as small as a desk on Mars. I also help lead the Impacts Working Group on the InSight mission. HiRISE and CTX have been showing us new craters, as Liliya said, forming on Mars for a while now. So we were hopeful we could detect some of these with the InSight mission. We want to study impacts with InSight because they can tell us not just about the craters themselves and the cratering process, but also about the interior and the atmosphere of Mars. Sources with a known location and size can help calibrate all of the other data we've gotten from InSight, all those quakes where we don't know the exact epicenter. After 3 years of listening, we thought impacts probably have to be either very close to the lander or very large to be detected seismically. We recently found 4 small impacts close to InSight, but we never thought we'd see anything this big. So we were super excited to hear about this discovery by Liliya and her team and have the chance to study it in more detail with HiRISE. Could I have the next image, please? From this HiRISE image, it was immediately clear that this is the biggest new crater we'd ever seen. It's about 500 feet wide, about 2 city blocks across. And even though meteoroids are hitting the planet all the time, this crater is more than 10 times larger than the typical new craters we see forming on Mars. We thought a crater this size might form somewhere on the planet once every few decades, maybe once a generation. So it was very exciting to be able to witness this event. And to be lucky enough it happened while InSight was recording seismic data. That was a real scientific gift. For comparison, the Mars quake this crater caused was a magnitude 4 quake, which on Earth is big enough to be felt, but not big enough to cause a ton of damage. About 1,000 or so quakes of this size happen on the Earth every year.
Yeah, you got 3.
But
Let's
Mars
go. There's another viewer.
Earth. So for Mars, this was a pretty big one.
I'm telling you.
Can I have the video, please?
There's a code to this, bro. If you can crack it, you can make easy money.
Images that a whole lot of water
I'm telling you. I am telling you. But then you have to devote your time and be consistent.
Data, boulder-sized chunks of ice in the crater's ejecta, as well as splotches of ice thrown across the landscape outside the crater.
There's so much money out there.
This was surprising because this is the warmest spot on Mars, the closest to the equator we've ever seen water ice. So scientists are going to be able to use this to constrain the past climate conditions.
We got chunks on NASA Mars.
This ice was deposited, buried, and preserved.
Was that a fucking...
This is a huge opportunity to study a really large impact event from both the orbit and the ground, a reminder of how privileged we are to have multiple missions studying Mars at the same time. It's been really exciting and fruitful to be part of these two projects working together. And now I'll hand it over to Lori Glaze.
Thank you so much, Ingrid. So InSight, what an amazingly successful mission where we've learned so much about Mars's crust, the interior, and more. As you heard from Bruce, sadly, we're likely nearing the end of the InSight mission, but what an awesome capstone science result to end on. I mean, literally going out with a bang. The observation of the December 24 impact by the InSight seismometer, as well as the orbital imaging, is really exciting, not just for gathering important new information that will refine our understanding of the crustal structure, but for other really important science as well. As you heard, it's the largest impact crater seen on Mars since we've been observing and watching. Asteroids are found throughout the solar system, and they play a really important role in planetary surface processes. So these observations are going to help contribute to that knowledge. To give a little context on this particular asteroid, the expected size range of the object that created the crater was likely between about 5 and 12 meters across. And, asteroids of that size actually enter Earth's atmosphere on the order of about once a year. We see those pretty regularly. But because Earth has a thicker atmosphere, asteroids of this size burn up and are generally pretty harmless.
Let's fucking go.
If I could have the first graphic, please. I just want to speak for a moment about the importance of the discovery of ice, just below the surface. This is really an exciting result. We know, of course, that there's water ice near the poles on Mars, but in planning for future human exploration of Mars, we'd want to land the astronauts as near to the equator as possible, and having access to ice at these lower latitudes. That ice could be converted into water, oxygen, or hydrogen. That could be really useful. If I could have the second graphic, please. So let's just go back to where Bruce started. You've heard
you got people watching, and you just got me talking on here. Come on, bro.
End sometime in the coming,
4
to 8 weeks in the next couple of months.
I go make tacos. Hello.
Oh my God! What the fuck have you been?
4 years it's been operating.
Easy cracked it.
That has met many challenges along the way.
Oh, dude, it still has us talking.
The challenges of the soil of Mars not cooperating, and the challenges of trying to deploy the pole with the heat probes.